Okay, we're recording. Welcome, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Scott. Thank you for having
Good.
me.
I'm happy to do this. You want to talk briefly about your musings and what you
I
got
do.
planned going on?
I want to firstly thank everyone in the community who's picked up the book. Um, for those who haven't, I understand. I really am thrilled to be here today because, as my book is sort of a testament to time being still like a mosaic from God, this is what the Akashic records are to me. And hopefully they give us it's been based on the first three I've seen, um, gonna be a way to tune into what it is that I can affect change for the better and now, which is what this whole community is about. And um, the stories can be rewritten, as I hope to do with my next book and as I did with the first one. So I greatly appreciate it, and that's all I got right now.
You bet, my friend. But yeah, your original musings are speaks for itself. Easy Street with Jeff Bailey on Amazon. You said
Mhm.
you can get them on Amazon or whatever, but
Correct.
it's very it's different from most kind of poetry of say. Because like you were saying before, it's not all like rhyming and reasoning. It's more of a story,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
It's
or a
just as
situation.
yeah, the imposition of time is eliminated, because, and that sounds heavy-handed to say, but when you're recasting something in a new light, it's as if you're experiencing it viscerally for the first time. So it becomes more of channeling than probably method, because method would involve all the things that maybe someone who is more quote unquote professional than some might say my writing is. And I don't mean it as an aspersion on my writing, or that they're casting aspersions. I value what critics have to say. This is just more of a objective criticism of my own work, that it comes from a place not here but there, up above. So when you're writing, it's as if someone's talking to you. And I don't think of myself as a medium. I only think of myself as a medium when I'm writing. So I
Yeah,
feel very
it's
much
gonna come from
attached to
somewhere.
it.
Because I'm no poet per se of any sorts, but when inspiration strikes, some kind of um, message or whatever would come out. But it's not for me. It's from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. And even people, intellectuals like Noam Chomsky, they point out that even today, as you and I are having a conversation, the neurons aren't in our heads going, I'm going to say this word and I'm going to formulate it like this. Like they talk about how people, they come out of the womb and some of them can speak, maybe, or have recollections of speaking five or six different languages. He hasn't gone so far as to say it's the work of, from past lives, but he's gone as far as to say there's been no scientific, really, way to explain a pattern of how we assimilate language.
Hmm.
So you're definitely correct. I mean, that is, we all have a gift for that, for language, but I don't think we all use it. I think it can be just as strong as the other gifts, dependent upon where we want it to lead us. If you just sat yourself in silence and just said, okay, what am I going to put down now, and not say, oh my God, I have a deadline of. You're not writing an essay, you're not writing a novel with a story, with an arc, with a point A and a point Z. You're writing as if there is one little speck of time that could be applied anywhere on a canvas, years ago, now, in the future. I mean, the biggest example of that, obviously, is Nostradamus.
Mm-hmm.
He was considered, uh, the first venerated psychic of ages. So that to me is also born in France, as I was. That to me is the best illustration of what I think channeling in any medium is. So,
Yeah. With Nostradamus, a lot of things have to be interpreted.
mm-hmm.
And
And
if
that's
you look at
fine.
other people that have done interpretations of Nostradamus, it's like, well, maybe that was interpreted wrongly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still
And that's
fascinating.
another instance.
Many things he
Mm-hmm.
have said 700 years ago, or whatever it was, that can have that effect of that relate to what's going on now. Just amazing.
Exactly.
Just
And
amazing.
as you point out, also too, that's when you reinterpret something, you're recasting it in a new light. As I said, that's
Right.
you're even if you're using it about something that just happened in the past. The moment something flashes for anyone who's psychic or can channel or is getting a message from the heavens or from spirit or whomever, is only then and then. And that's why everybody's so intent on saying write it down or try to viscerally recount it, because then it's gone. But that,
Right.
it's like that one moment, that one moment before you're going to fall asleep, Scott, where you just
Mm-hmm.
feel so peaceful.
Yeah.
It's not really consciousness, but it still is, yeah, because you're conscious of it. That's how I see this. This is when I'm the happiest, when I'm doing this.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like a lot of us. We should all keep like a dream journal next to our bed, because you only remember it for maybe 5 minutes, and then it's like you go on your day, and it's like, oh, dang it,
Mhm.
now I lost it. What was that part?
I'll be
And
in
then
the shower and I can remember it. If I'm going through the chakra healing, I do in the shower, and I chant to some of the, like on namo guru dev namo, and you say those things as prayers, and then
mm-hmm.
you start chanting and trying for each chakra. Those are the days I'm happiest. Those are the days I'm calmest. And when I can see sort of a partition in the middle of my vision with my eyes shut, and I know that sounds strange, they say that's when you've come to the point where you're actually meditating. And at the same time, I feel like with a third eye, I'm seeing the dream. I'm not seeing the dream until I'm fully meditating. And then I'll remember, I'll be like, oh, that's what happened. Like I had one last night where I had two people in it, one of whom I just know from online, who was asking a lot of questions and who's part of this new job. And then this woman with whom I used to work from another job, and she was in the same dream with me, but we were having two different experience. I was having two different experiences with two different people simultaneously, where I had a job and where I didn't have a job, but it was the same time continuum. And my father was in it, but I still can't remember what he was trying to say, or if he said anything in it at all. So I woke up out of bed in the middle of the night, and I still think he's here. And I woke up in the dark, all disoriented. I'm like, he's gone. He's not here. And I'm, of course, in a new environment with a new bed and whatever. But, the orientation of the bed's the same. It's just that you get used to certain things in your lives, but you have to, and that's what writing allows you to do, see them in a new light. If we could keep track of our dreams, my God, can you imagine some of the things we'd see?
I
You
know,
know,
right?
yeah.
What traveling, where we're at, what we're doing, who we're healing, how we're healing,
Mm-hmm.
who we're seeing.
Who
So
we're
much stuff
seeing.
goes on.
Mm-hmm.
So much stuff going on. So in this process, I always try to do a little meditation, which we did prior, to try to connect you to earth and spirit, heaven and earth, heart and soul. And there was pets coming in, which was kind of weird. And what was that pet you said there was a cat,
Moxie.
Moxie, that really
Hmm.
connected with you? So I think
Yep.
that's part of your Akashic is your little Moxie here.
She was a feisty one too. She was half Siamese. She lived two houses over from us, and she was this man Carmine's cat, but not really his. His son Dave, who perished from a car accident, he got a cat and a dog, and the dog was named Max. And I think it was too painful for Carmine to care for those animals because they were reminders of his son, who was like maybe 22, who died in a car accident. So what ended up happening was she was sort of wayward. Max was on a leash and he became more and more emaciated. He wouldn't eat, but we were putting gravel in our driveway. We had moved into that house in late 1986. Yeah. And I think we were doing it a very hot summer in 1987. It was like 98 at 7:30 at night. And all of a sudden she comes over and the pavement's still warm because they're still putting it down. And we're like, no. And then she goes over to the cement mixer and tries to start eating it. We're like, no, stop. And then all of a sudden, it's almost as if, Scott, they pick us, we don't pick them. She was one in a string of cats um, up until maybe 2010 that were in our lives, but weren't ours, but they became ours. They spent the majority of time, and most of them were cats. Although this particular dog, when my Max, they had Max and Moxie. For how's that for alliteration? Max followed them one day down Fisherville Road in Concord, where they were walking, and it might have been in Pennacook, and he followed them right down and then right back to where he lives. He was off his leash, and he wasn't even our dog, but he just loyally followed. And I think he took his cue from her, from Moxie, seeing that maybe, hey, they take care of her, they feed her, can, that. And that is one of the more pleasant moments I've had in my life. The more pleasant moments are with animals for me than with humans. And that's a, a it's, what do you call it? Misanthrope or whatever, but it sounds misanthropic, but it's really not. I mean, they say they're from the angelic realm. So when you had me in that sort of state, I was coming out of the light. And once I came out of the light and into the red, she was, when you asked the question, she was what I saw in that gateway to heaven, or the gateway to the light.
Yeah,
Isn't that? Yeah.
yeah, that's wonderful. I was for some reason I was seeing a bird, and then you told me
But there
that
was a bird.
she would bring you birds,
Hmm. She
whatever.
would bring us birds constantly. And that was one of the things that marked her as one of the more exceptional animals we had, because she was fast. I mean, all of them can. She did weird things too. Like my dad had to go to San Francisco for a week, and she climbed up a tree because I don't think she wanted to be near my mother. She climbed up the tree and sat there. And then when he came home and the fire truck came, I mean, she literally sat 2 or 3 days up there. Then she came down. So if people argue and say that they don't think that there's a higher level of intelligence among animals and that they're not thinking things or they're not doing things, that's why I get so upset when I see an animal abused or I see one of those SPCA commercials. I turn it off because it's heart wrenching, because I think they're evolved in their own ways that we don't know yet.
Yeah, in certain ways.
Yeah.
Every, I mean, I've had many dogs and a lot of cats because we usually had when I was farming, we usually had 30 plus farm cats running around. But each dog had their own personality, did things different. One had separation anxiety. Another was just loving and would love to chase chickens and cats and whatever, and would find moles or any kind of rodent. You know, the current dog we have here is he's a baby. He doesn't he usually gets along with other animals, but
Mhm.
he's more of a homebody. You know, I can tell he can see spirit, you know, when he focuses on something, but he's generally lazy, but he's not aggressive. The other day he got bit in the ear by another dog, and all he was doing is going to go greet the other dog. The other dog freaked out and bit him in the ear, and now he's like, oh, you know, but you know, they have their own personalities too, but generally they love, and,
Mhm.
and that's what they're here for.
Yep.
They're loyal and they love, but they have their
And
own personalities of what they're going to do too. So,
yeah, and they're coming from a place too where demonstrably they're showing you something, but that when they're barking, they're trying to come over to the human realm. You know, they're trying to be in the same realm we are to communicate something, but you don't know what it is. You know, that's why they do it. So when people get aggravated by a dog or whatever that's barking nonstop, 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 I understand it. But I also understand they're trying to, and it's the same when a cat meows. You know, it could be for the basic needs, or it could be like you're paying more attention to that to, you know, Brody than you are to me, or you know, that sort of thing. And with the two dogs we have now, Brody and Braden, Braden's 11, I mean 10. Braden will sometimes, and I know it sounds weird, but he'll throw the stink eye at you if he sees you giving too much attention to the other dog or is mad at you that you haven't given it any attention in the day. And people say, you know, they are more but he'll look at you like with the look of death. Or if he's outside on a windy day and wants to go in, he'll turn his whole body to you. He won't snap at you. He'll be expressive. You can't tell me that level of expression isn't like some determinant of a higher sort of intelligence. And I and I say it with grace because this room I'm in was my aunt Susan's. Susan had the same sort of scowl when she didn't like something. And this Braden does the same thing. And I told him one day, I think I know where you got it. You got it from Susan. And I almost felt like he understood me. I almost felt, and he stopped for a minute. Isn't that weird? Like I almost felt as if he got what I was saying
oh
because
yeah,
it stopped.
yeah,
And I,
you should practice that sometimes.
you
See if
know,
you just telepathy talk to your animal.
oh yeah,
Practice.
like, and the other one, Brody will go like this, like he's from another planet, or I'm from another planet. Like, what are you doing? What the are you saying? Like, you
I think
know,
I sense that's an acknowledgement,
that's what
not
it is.
yeah, not that. What are you talking about? No, it's actually a cute acknowledgement. It's like I can hear you.
I can hear you, and I
Yeah,
get it. Yeah,
yeah, it's a cute acknowledgement of what I get here.
I also like. And I think that our ancestors maybe are talking through them, which is really out there, but I like to think that.
They can sense it. I mean, they can be manipulated to a point of doing something. You
Hmm.
know, by our ancestors, whether
Hmm. Like I'll talk to them and be like, blah 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 blah, like you're doing this,
yeah,
and then all of a
it's like
sudden I'll be like, look
yeah,
at
it's the
me.
need for a
Yeah.
hug, or need for a look, or need for attention. It's like they know if you need a hug or have a bad day, they'll come by
Hmm.
you, do what you need to do. So our little petly friends have their uniqueness and why they're around. So almost every time when I've scheduled an Akashic past life reading, a lot of times I'll start sensing something prior. And so with you, I started seeing you as a small child. Actually, it feels like a female now when I just asked. But there was some kind of abandoned type feeling, like you were left. So then I started seeing what I think is when 2 lives ago you were being coming across immigrating to the United States, and some tragedy happened where your parents, which I believe are your current parents, they came back around again, and there's a sense of abandonment because you lost who took care of you. And at this point, it doesn't feel like disease. It feels like they were just trying to find work and got in the wrong crowd or something. I'm almost getting the sense of seeing that movie, The Batman, when the parents of Batman, were murdered in the alley. That kind of feeling. So then you're left alone. And there's this group, kind of like a foster home kind of feeling where you were taken in. So you made friends, and this almost feels like the community, the YouTube committee, right? You have these friends that come to support you and guide you. But your life there didn't go as you wanted because you're a child, because there's no acceptance. Everyone's trying to start their own lives at this point. Most were farmers, and you got manufacturing, so no one really wants to take in separated children, take on another responsibility.
In an agrarian society that's so, built on that would have been hard. I get it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I think this has a lot to do with some issues and problems because it feels like just as a young child you just felt abandoned, from poor circumstances, and it was hard. Even though you did have support, I did feel with other children because they were going through a lot of the same thing, but it created a lot of problems. Is what I was sensing with this. Not growing up in a home that would be supportive and whatnot. So it may relate to a lot of things that you may have dealt with. And I hope that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense in light of, you know, as I said, everything coming full circle with time being outside a continuum, but one sort of painting or I'm still working through that. It feels, and it makes sense that there were only 2 lives ago that I was literally abandoned. And I'm still feeling like a child would, torn between two parents, or having gone through this life, I felt torn between the two of them when they separated, or that I was always an instigator to one or reporting back to another. I felt a disconnect
Yeah.
that child should feel. So maybe
So
since maybe since it's as early as 2 lives ago, it makes perfect sense. It's palpable. The feeling is palpable. Hmm.
so, um, you mentioned your father's gone, but your mother's still here. So any problems, just make sure you let it go so it doesn't carry over again. You can't help who this soul and who this journey created, however it works out. You know,
Hmm.
thank you. You gave me life. you can't change how this other soul creates their own life, right? Being part or distant, however the case may be. Just be grateful and don't hold any.
So that's why she came back as my mother this time too, so I could learn.
Learn. Yes. Learn. Let it go. We can't change other souls. Just go with it. Thank them if they want to be part of our lives. Accept it wholeheartedly. So I think they came back again for a different disconnect. One may have a greater desire, a greater connection. The other one wanted to be in that abandoned type issue. But we can't control other ones. We can only go with our flow with our own sense of life.
That could be why I sense my father as more maternal in some ways
Mm-hmm.
than she was either. You know, you know.
Even though it may be hard, don't let the resentment or however the connection may be distant of what we
It's
truly
just
want. Yeah. So, I mean, me personally, I couldn't imagine. I had parents that were pretty close, especially my mother, and it is hurtful and it sucks. But it is best to just let this other soul change, take their own path. It isn't you, it's them. And you've gotten a gift through musings and you're part of a great community, so we'll go over there. So that was just something I was sensing prior to even connecting with you. And I want to get that out first. So anyway, let's go with lives. So I always just try to sense Earth lives. We could always been Neanderthals way, millions of years ago, whatever. Could have been a dinosaur. Who knows? But generally, I just start sensing um, basically the time frame of Lemuria, Atlantis, and up until till now. So I'm getting about 18,000 years ago.
that's young.
Kind of young.
Yeah,
According to our friend Bob, I was about 20,000. So we're in the same range. I can't remember if it was 29 or 20, but anywho. So I'm getting about 18,000. Um, I'm getting a different time frame of the whole Lemurian and Atlantis energy. I think you skipped them. I think you were somewhere else because I'm not seeing either of them. It's kind of like I'm sensing skip. So it's kind of like you knew what was going on in this other part of the world, but I think you were on Earth at another place, like a different. I'm sensing like a different civilization that it may have been even like in China area, somewhere up higher than the Lemurian and Atlantis energy. Um, it wasn't. Yeah, it feels above. So yeah, to me it feels like almost some China area. There
like the
wasn't.
Himalayas or Tibet or anything
Yeah,
like that. Okay.
that kind of feeling. High ground. Um, in a way, they feel native, but not. Um, but this is very small. So it's almost like this isn't a huge civilization. It feels like a tight knit community. We're talking maybe 500 some people, very primitive.
Hmm.
Because they're almost giving me like the sense of teepees, fire, stick, bow and arrow sticks. I think they started tinkering with almost like trying to make or find different ores that could make like swords, to make things easier to cut and whatnot. This is very primitive, I'm sensing, but
It's
it's
like
almost
Placean era or like um, before humanity.
um
Was I like a Neanderthal?
no, it
Okay.
doesn't feel
No.
Neanderthal. Like I said, there feels like there's no guidance. It feels very primitive. Like no technology. It's kind of like figuring it out on your own. It's something I haven't seen before because it's like with the Lemurian and Atlantis energy, there was always
Did religion play a greater role than it
here.
might have been? Yeah.
No,
No. Okay.
this is all new. It's almost like a different sect of small civilizations of an experiment. So we have Atlantis energy and Lemurian energy and Sumerian and all this, but I'm seeing these people were guided by angelic extraterrestrials, right? So they're showing me like these little civilizations, not with no ways of
So they were
transport.
enclave. They were enclave, little enclaves unto themselves.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, with no guidance, no superior guidance. Let's see how this works. That kind of feeling. So it's like your soul started out as in the backwoods. All right, here you go. Figure out life. Here's a group of 10 people, right? Just figure it out. Well, you did. There's animals there to hunt. There's water. You know, it's like a fresh start. It's really weird. This is, like I said, I haven't seen this before, but I'm just like seeing, 500,000 people here. Little clans of sorts all over Asia area, and that's why I sense where you started. It's like, you know, what's the word? Like being cast away. You're dropped on an island, figure it out. Let's see how this works. That kind of feeling. It's kind of weird. So yeah, this is the first time I ever seen that because most everything I've seen before was all civilized, had guidance, as a people that were kings and queens and showed them how to do things and showed them how to irrigate and seed and plant corn or whatever it is, how to succeed. But just feels like a drop of castaway. Here you go, figure it out. So 18,000. How many lives accumulated that on Earth from there? I think like 118. So relatively young amount of lives. So if you were doing every 100 years, that would be like 180. So it's a low amount. So that would assume you've not been on this planet the whole time. That's a huge break.
That's a really big break compared to some of the other ones I've seen.
Yes.
It-
Generally,
yeah.
if you spend a lot of time on Earth, you would have seen
Like
180, like
right
180, pretty close to that.
to that same
So I think you've been
range.
off. So I'm sensing you've been off planet quite a bit. So
Wow.
of those, how many male and female? There's been a lot more male. So like 118. How many male? A few more male. Like not quite 70. It's like upper 60s, like 68 or so have been male, something like that. There's a little more male dominance there. Um, let's see how many. So about 40, it feels like you were tapped into the universe, which feels like a standard, maybe a few more above. Um, about three. I'm getting about three. You were be able to channel. You know, there's about three of them you're able to channel the universe. I'm getting here. You're kind of in a, how do I say that? A transfer stage with your soul's
Hmm.
development. I'm getting you kind of regressed.
I would agree with that.
Something something happened.
I
I'm getting
found ways
something.
to deal with it, but
Well, I mean, it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying something happened in the 1600s. I'm getting that you needed to regress in your development. Um,
it's funny you bring up the 1600s because I'm not going to name the name. Well, yeah, I am going to name the name.
yeah, go for it. I mean, it might be
Nancy
easier.
Jean. I asked Nancy Jean once how many lives she had seen or something to that effect. I don't know. That was too vague. Had I been here before? Where was it? And it was before my dad died. And she said the 1600s. And she said, when you said regressed, I was hearkening back to what she said about my gifts. And she said, you lived in a time, you came from a family that was well to do in the 1600s, but your gifts were, you had to suppress your gifts because no one wanted them. That's what she got.
That's feels pretty close.
Okay.
Um, I don't think it was gifts though. Um,
Was it
I,
identity?
it was more about well-to-do. It's almost feeling like royalty because generally, if you're gifted, you're not wealthy.
Correct.
When
Mm-hmm.
you're gifted, you serve others, right? You're allowed to stain. I'm getting from royalty. Um, I'm getting the gifted came before, just
In a
before.
previous life?
Yeah,
Okay.
just before. So now we're coming into 1600, and okay, where is this? It feels Scandinavish, near England area. Like I don't know what
Can it be Denmark?
it's. Yeah, like Denmark. It's mainland, like right
Okay.
near there.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're talking almost like royalty, like you were in some kind of royalty there, very catered to. So so now we're going to the greed and avarice kind of thing. You were wanting, wanting, wanting. You had it all, right? So I think you had to regress because you've reached to a pinnacle. where you had it all, but then you started treating others worse? Because the time before, I'm sensing here, okay, now, so it feels like late 1500s. There, you're almost crossing into Russian territory. Not quite, but we're moving east again. So like Denmark, like two countries
Finland,
away. No,
little south, or
it feels almost directly east, like a country or two over from Denmark area. It's not up Finland, Sweden. We're just going directly, yeah, Yugoslavia or not Yugoslavia. You know, like it feels like Russia, but not at that point. I get, like I said, I needed to look at the map, but so here you were purely spiritual. This is where I think you were, like a
I was
psychic,
low. Yeah,
like a psychic type witch and that kind of scenario. But you served others. Um, Towards the end, it feels like he got a little greedy, but mostly a serving type life. But then somewhere in your contracts there, you wanted to be rich and famous. So it feels like you needed to regress there. And so now you're coming up. And that's what I'm sensing as part of your gifts of your musings. You're connecting in a way there to heal yourself. You're connecting to heal yourself from what you had to move up to.
and that's why I'm able to channel, because there was that one lifetime in which I could
Well,
channel the universe
yes.
way, 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 way back.
Yeah. Like I said, I sense it's your pinnacle is probably like 1580. I'm sensing. Like I said, we'd have to look at the map because I don't know every country,
I'm
but it's like,
drawn to things about the Russian Revolution, the Bolsheviks, um, Masha Gessen, who's a Russian activist. I watch all her videos on YouTube.
all
That
right,
would explain that. That's really, really funny. And then when you unsolicited or without prodding said anything about the 1600s, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I don't think he would have seen Nancy Jean's video if he
no, I
didn't,
don't think no, I didn't, but
but
no,
you were pretty close without any sort of prep. That's amazing, Scott.
well,
Really.
this is where it's coming from. So, but yeah, I am sensing you had quite a few. It feels like you did spend like 400 years in that area there that you're talking about there, from like 1200s to um, about the early 1600s in that area. Like we're probably talking Russian, Poland, that area.
Hmm.
So then we're coming up to like Denmark, Scandinavia area
What
there.
is modern day Belarus? Or
Yeah,
yeah,
they very well
yeah,
could be.
okay.
Yeah, and then as we move up there a couple lives, then we're getting into Scotland, England, Irish area until you move here. So that's where I think that a lot that comes from. Um, Male or female? I think you were a female psychic there, magician type feeling in the 1500s there. Then you were a male that was wealthy and whatnot there in the 1600s. But I think that's the transfer from there. You got a taste of wealth and it went to your head kind of feeling. So now then you needed to regress, and now you're back working your way up. So with this community and everything, rise up, and you can be better next time, right? Release the pains,
That's the
and
goal. Hmm.
that's the goal with it. I mean, we're actually in a better time than before. With internet, we can connect to more people, and figure out how to release the pains of the past and our senses and what we've done wrong and why this person hurt us, and we can figure that all out and just say, okay, thank you for life, bless you, I'm me. You
We
know,
come through them, we're not them.
yeah.
We're
There
their
you
vessels. Yeah.
go. Okay, so that's kind of weird there. Where else we need to go? About 500 BC. We're talking Egyptian area, the pyramids and all that area. Um,
Sumerian or
no, this
no?
is
Okay.
Cairo area,
Oh,
just
okay.
just south of where the pyramids are. Um, I'm not sure which pharaoh was in charge there, but this is 500. About I'm seeing 500 BC. So whatever pharaoh's there. Um, but this is just south. It's still Egypt. It doesn't feel like a great life. It feels like slave labor. You know, it doesn't feel like you're royalty or anything like that. You were a hard worker. At one point, I'm being shown you actually made jewelry.
Hmm.
Um, it's like you started crafts. You had a large family, but you started crafts, but then you got
Male or female?
a female,
Okay.
but then you got taken in by something else. Um, it's like you started a family, you started this making jewelry or something. Because I'm just seeing these crafts and these different types of jewels or whatnot, and then something else happened. So there's something bad happened later in life. It may have happened something to do with um, some kind of battles going on or fights with the leadership with the pharaohs or separation of pharaohs. But then I feel like you were um, taken as a slave. You may have lost your family. So I'm seeing like the warriors or the army plucking women from homes kind of feeling.
You seeing any rape or any pillaging or
No,
okay?
it feels like they're plucking people for slavery or something, but for some reason they were going after the women more so than the men. I'm not sure why. Maybe it was for brides or something. It just feels like they needed women more for some kind of slave labor, maybe cleaning or serve the whim of the crown or something like that.
Hmm.
But it feels like you had a great life up to the 30s or so, and then it collapsed. You lost your family, and there's some kind of slave labor. It doesn't feel like, like building, building tombs or anything like that, like a man would do. It may be part of that. Like maybe the men did the manual labor and the women did the mixing of the mud or whatever. I don't know. But unfortunately, the second half of your life wasn't very good. But I'm seeing 500, like 500 BC, whatever was going on there, if there was building going on or whatnot. But I'm not being shown building, but it's like like demanding to help royalty for some reason.
Hmm.
Whether no straight task. Like you may have to clean here, massage here, mud clay here. It's just like the government took you kind of feeling, and you lost your family. But they weren't going at this point. They weren't going after men. I'm saying it's unfortunate, but you did see some kind of craziness going on, good or bad, in the Egyptian area there. They're showing me the middle of Saudi Arabia here. Uh, like 780 or so. Not sure what this means. I'm seeing camels. There's a desert. I think they were a miner.
For jewels or
Yeah, it looks like they were
okay.
digging because I'm seeing the packs over the camels in the desert, but then I'm seeing like some kind of shovels and digging going on. There's no machinery, so it's like all by hand. There's some kind of. It feels independent. You're gone a lot. Like I said, it feels like you're some kind of miner or you're searching for minerals or something. Some kind of adventurer, kind of like an Indiana Jones kind of type of guy.
Did I have a camel?
Yep,
Wow.
seeing you
Okay.
own the camel. It's almost like you might have been the owner of this business, kind of feeling. Not sure what the heck the importance is, why they're showing me this. Um, you have ownership abilities. Like I think what I'm getting reference is that you do have those abilities to run a
Own your
business,
own business.
own your own business, to be in charge of people, explore, and find
I've
gold.
I've always been among the happiest I've ever been, or when I'm traveling, or when I'm feeling in a position of authority. But yet that can easily be abused,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
you pointed out.
it
But
can.
also, I work hard in scenarios that sometimes are fruitless. Like to me, to hear that I was in the desert is the last place I probably want to be if I were owning my own business. You
Well,
know.
back in the day, I am seeing water available. I am seeing water available. It's like you knew where water was, but
There is a okay
you had to go to the desert to find the
to get
drink.
it.
Feeling. But yeah, it feels like you had your own business, like camel mining or something like that, right?
700 AD or BC?
Yeah, after AD.
After, oh, after, okay,
Yeah,
Addo Dominion, okay.
yeah. This is like 700 or so. I mean, the, it really feels like you were searching for gold because there's a lot of money in gold about that time frame. Yeah, it looks like gold. You can sell it to anywhere. But you had a lot of travels going on in that area. When you find your lot, you would go to the markets and sell it and whatnot. But yeah, it feels like your own business, a lot of traveling. Um, Not much time for family. I think he did have a few children and a wife. Feels pretty committed.
It wasn't like a harem situation or anything like that. No.
No,
Okay.
I'm not seeing a harem. I feel like a pretty committed person. Pretty long life. But he did travel quite a bit. Okay. Um, let's check the universe. 118. You're missing at least 60 lives somewhere, which would transpire to maybe 6 or 7 extraterrestrial lives. Let's see. I don't think a lot of them are very good. They're they're kind of blocking me from those, unfortunately. I think they're what do you want to call, like people always say, negative oriented. There's some negative oriented,
Like malevolence or
yeah, malevolent.
okay.
They weren't on the good side of the creator.
I have to ask, were they reptilian?
I'm getting some reptilian energy, yes.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh.
I think you've been on the bad side of that
Oh my god.
because they really wanted to block me there. I'm telling you, they're showing this. I mean, not all are bad, right? But they're showing me you've been on the bad side. Maybe that's part of your soul karma there. Um, how far back? I really think you've been part of trying to take over planets, take over races. Um, been in charge of some kind of manipulation of DNA too.
Oh my
Yeah, it's kind of like if you didn't like a certain race was going, there was another some kind of secret base or something like that. They were manipulating DNA to try to change something about the minds and even the to make what do you want to call it? They're trying to make slaves. You're telling me that you were kind of trying to make slaves out of people or create a, a subservient race of people
race.
to help as slavery. Do something about um, it was easier to create subservient people than make people be subservient. Do you understand what I'm saying there?
Hmm.
Yeah. So there's some kind of manipulation with
Wow,
so
that's the
like
lowest of the low.
Yeah, kind of. So they like would take people and they try to use their DNA to kind of like hybrid or whatever, but they concentrated on
Was
the
it
mind.
an advanced form of like eugenics, like that? What, like, people like Hitler would like on steroids would want to have? Is that what it is? Trying to get the best qualities and
So instead
control
of
them?
trying to make a super soldier, they were trying to make super slaves.
Hmm. Oh my God.
Because a lot of these malevolent or benevolent extraterrestrial beings were, too smart. So they needed helpers that weren't so smart or and obedient to help in this plan to like,
And this is where you saw me integral in the war of the races and stuff like
yeah,
that.
there's something to do with similar to that, taking over planets. You were like one of the soldiers, but then I was seeing something about assisting in this kind of manipulation. How long ago was this? Wow. This was actually happening maybe 7,000 years ago. This is about, mm, this was about the time, this is after Lemuria and Atlantis. This is when all these civilizations started popping up around the planet, about that time frame. So when you start seeing records of like Sumeria and Mesopotamia and all these,
Babylon. Yeah.
yeah, Babylon, all these little civilizations are starting to be found.
Did we want humans? Do we want to control humans?
Yes, yes. It feels like you might have been a part of that Anunnaki race, but not on
That
this
was the one
planet.
that showed it. That's the one that looked reptilian. Well,
Yeah,
no, they were reptilian, or
I think they were reptilian disguised as gods. So I think you may have been working in coordinates with them to plant souls of humans here to be obedient slaves.
hmm.
So I think you were part of that group, but you were on a different planet. I don't think you were here. This, yeah, this is. I have no clue what kind of planet. I don't get words like that, but it's mainly a black. I'm not sure what that means. It's got an atmosphere and everything, but if you would look at it like Earth, you can see Earth, but you look at this one, it would give you a black. It would look black from the
Oh,
universe. Um, I'm not sure if it's a dome or what that is. Um,
is it since gone?
no, it's still there.
What's still there? Oh.
That planet is still there, and maybe it's pollution. Maybe it's so bad pollution that's why it looks black from all the pollution or something. But no, it looks like a functioning society yet. A little more peaceful, but it's like you gotta peel back the black. I don't know if it's the dome or protection of it now or something, but it just looks dark. Like if you look at it, but try to peel back and I see societies. So, but I think whatever planet this is doesn't feel too far away. as far as dimensional travel. But yeah, that's one of them. It feels like you were part of the Anunnaki because it didn't
Oh
feel
my!
good. Like a cousin of the Anunnaki gods. It's so strange. I haven't seen that before. What about benevolence? How about good? I'm sensing you've been in that realm mostly. Not always bad. Not always bad.
I love it.
There's some hybrids going on here, but mainly this one where you were kind of a bad guy, a bad soul. Not always. There was um, learning and benevolence there. For some reason, they're just kind of stressing this one was not a good time. There was um, trying to think what they would call that. I don't think you were a pilot because I'm seeing you go to different planets and worlds, kind of like humanitarian missions, vacation too. Um, Kind of like an engineer because I'm not seeing your soul. It's kind of like a hybrid type reptilian looking, but not reptilian. Yeah, it's kind of weird how to describe. But I'm seeing you going, but
Is that
not in the.
civilization? Is that civilization as you see it now advanced? I mean, I don't mean advanced
The
for the
one with the
better.
dark at first.
Hmm. Like, do you
Yeah,
think they're ahead of
advanced.
us?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, I mean, we're only talking 7,000 years, so
Oh, okay.
they had the technology back then. So, oh yeah, they're at least 7,000, 10,000 years ahead of us in technology and whatnot. But yeah, it feels like a peaceful society now. I think they're actually working on their climate more so. It feels like. So I'm not sure what kind of. It feels more like an engineer type or scientist in this other life here because I don't see. Otherwise, they'd show me in the pilot seat cruising along, whatever.
Hmm.
But you are some part of some crew of doing something, but it feels like something else, like an electrician or scientist or whatever. But I think you've explored the galaxy quite a bit, many galaxies. 10 to 15 different planets you've been on.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah, you bounced around. I guess they wanted to show me that one where I think that was the only life there. But they're showing me many reptilian type. What did I say before? Six, seven,
Anunnaki or 6, I believe.
six. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
thinking six. Yeah,
that was your estimate.
yeah. I think about 6 lives you've had, but that one there felt strictly reptilian type. But the other ones are feeling like hybrids or cousins of the reptilians. Like I said, there was only one bad time. The other ones don't feel, um, you know, like we were talking before. The reptilians get a bad rap. They're not all bad. um, like those little grays, they had a mission and they were abducting people and doing tests and all that.
Now we
Oh, yeah.
don't hear about it. Yeah.
No, not really. No, I think that's all kind of went away. Um, so it sort of seems if you want to connect to your ancestors of extraterrestrial race, call in the benevolent reptilians.
Okay.
That's what I'm
We'll
saying
leave
because
it at
I tried to go through different races for you. You know,
that.
the Palladians, Arcturians, and those, and they weren't coming into my zone.
Is the soul family for the lives on Earth ever the same for me?
What
Like,
do you
are
mean?
there um, same same characters in different form, or same souls in different lives reappearing? I
You mean
mean, I
your
know you
soul?
talked about the one with my mother and father.
Oh, you mean your soul family?
Yeah.
Um, now give me an example of who.
Outside of mother and father, just the same people that I might have been connected to, like um, first boyfriend, first girlfriend, first serious love.
They're just showing me a revolving door.
Wow.
So,
Okay, that makes
so
sense.
they've been part of you before.
Oh, they have been. Okay.
Yeah. So when you see a revolving door, it means they've come back again. You know, those souls keep coming back again. So if you had, you know, every single lesson, every single soul either has a lesson, love, or longer. So if it didn't work out, there's a reason that you need to learn something from every single one of them. So like if you would give a specific person, it'd be easier to figure out where to go with.
Well, there was one in this lifetime when I was 19, male. He they were male.
Okay.
And it seemed as platonic as it was, as real as it could get, because we were always with each other. And then something broke.
I think you were husband and wife 3 lives ago. There is a connection there. I think you were the female.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there's obviously a divorce if it didn't work out. So it's like a choice to bring this soul back together
And it didn't happen.
to,
It
to
happened.
see to see if what kind of connection can be made to break the tie or let it free. And if it didn't work, then another, divorce or breakup or someone died. Just don't know unless I tap in more. But no, it feels more like a divorce.
1800s.
Somewhere
Yeah.
around there.
Okay.
Um, Someone died. No, I'm thinking. I think it was a divorce, a relationship who was married for a short time. So yeah, it's a lot easier to figure out things like that when you focus
When you
on that instead of saying all your life. Tell me all the souls you get in your life. What do you pick up? It's like, it's easier to sense where to go if it's specific. Um, Anything else important? You being interested in poetry, and it does feel like you got some inspiration from some poet in France. Um, Early 1400s, I think, in France area.
I'll go with that.
It feels
I think
1400s.
this is the first time we've talked to France, though. But if you
Mm-hmm.
see me there, I wouldn't be able to correlate who of that
Yeah.
of that
You
time.
just
But
have to you just have to Google search
okay,
what poets or writers, whatever, popped up in the 1400s in France. It feels pretty close to the central capital, Paris, whatnot. Is Paris the capital? Do you know?
hmm
It is? Okay.
I was born there. Yeah.
So, yeah, it feels pretty close, within 50 miles of Paris, where everything flowed there. But it feels early 1400s, 1410, 1420. I think that's where your inspiration comes from, poetry and writing and whatnot. Yeah, that's about all they're going to tell me right now, unless you have any other questions.
No, you've blown my mind. It was a great reading.
I mean, there's always a way to tap somewhere else. So I'm
I
just trying.
mean,
I was
half
just
of it,
wondering.
yeah, half of it I wasn't expecting. The other half of it makes great sense in light of what I'm going through now. So, and what I'm drawn to, like what I like to look at. So, I'm with it 100%.
Oh,
Totally.
I guess I didn't look at your guides. I've been trying to tap into guides. Okay, so I I believe that there's two. I believe everyone's got two guides given from God for each soul. That's what I sense. I seen my two in a dream. So I mean, others can say different, but this is what I see. So who are yours, male and female? I think there's one of each. So these are just entities. They present how they want to present. So I think you've been given one female energy, one male energy. And then there's a very old soul guiding you. And I actually think they may have been a poet or inspired to write. They give me the look of having like a pointy hat and a little mustache, and then the beard goatee kind of pointed. It's like it
Are
looks
they a
curled.
wizard of some
Looks
type or
curled. There's this hat. They got um the
a
shirt with
monk?
the. It may have been in for France, but I have no clue who this is. How long? He said they haven't been a living being for like 700 years. So we might be talking actually from the 1400s here. It's this energy's around you, guiding you right now. Has for like at least 5 years.
They came in within the last 5 years?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, wait a minute. When do you actually put this to paper?
2021. I mean, I had been writing that since probably about 2010. And I just put it all together.
Hmm. Something else had to happen about, yeah, so like 2016, 2017, something major had to have changed. Whenever your last major change in your life. But it's more than just writing, but it's like your biggest one of your biggest changes in your life. This is when this guide came to you.
Well, there was another health crisis with my father that year. I also lost my aunt in the same stretch of time. But
So you lost your aunt and your dad was going through something in like
mhm. Like
2016.
he was held up in his home in our apartment for like 6 months without having gone out. And he was walking with a chair and he was saying things like lock the door and throw away the key. I mean, there was a mental break.
Did it affect you though that way?
Yes.
Okay. This is when this guide came to you. You're trying to break through your creativity, break through everything that's going on.
Because that's when the writing got probably more amplified. That's when the visions or the channeling got better for me to do this. I mean,
There you go.
I
Yeah.
won't just,
Yeah, it's
but
kind
I'm,
of weird. The vision. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. So they got these old French hats, but it's kind of thin. And the guy's got a skinny mustache and curls, and then a goatee that comes down and it was pretty thin.
huh. I'm gonna look at pictures tonight of
Yeah.
poets that look like that.
Google some pictures of, I don't
I
know,
mean, because I
artists or
think like
something, or
Rimbaud
old
or
French, old
Baudelaire or
French,
writers like that, I don't know.
writers or poets or artists, whatever, that from back in the 14, 13, 14, 1500s, whatever. I don't know, but I wish I could know, but yeah, they just got a thin face. Yeah, they just got these facial hairs that are very distinct. And this, like I said, the hats aren't like cowboy hats. They're like kind of curled up, but they're really thin, but they got a long brim.
Oh
That's
my
the vision
god!
of it.
It's
That's the vision I'm being shown. So, I mean, it's something you can Google figure
I'm
out.
gonna look at it.
Um, who else is around? There's another energy that's been with you since birth. This one never changes, along with the first two, the male and female energy. And anytime there's what I sense is anytime there's a fourth guide, that's the one that brings in the connection through spirit and channeling and whatnot. You know, I always sense you need that fourth one to make that happen.
Hmm.
They have direct contact. We always have our guides and angels around. This fourth one, a little confusing. Actually, this one may have been flip flopping. I was getting male first, but I'm like, no, female. I'm like, wait a minute. Feels like there's a male and a female energy, never alive, that's been flip flopping depending on your needs. The male has been with you most of your life, but in times of crisis and need, this other one the female comes in for support. So when things are going good, the male's with you. When you're struggling, the female comes in and helps. They kind of like flip flop for some reason. Yeah. So like the old scenario, if you think about in our lives, when you're a child, generally you have a learning type guide. And then when you get to college or whatever, or go to high school and college, you might need another one. You know, if someone gets, let's say you get married, start having kids, you might have a different guide. You know, if you end up getting divorced or whatever, then you have another guide to try to help you get through that. And then later years, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
then we see someone in the community, some of these older ladies that are possibly watching us in retirement age, they're trying to explore. All of a sudden, they might have a guide come in that would help them increase their intuition and want
Is
to
this
learn
is
more.
this such as a like divine feminine or divine masculine type of thing?
Um, just feels like the energies that would come in here and there as needed.
Okay.
So it feels like now you have this female energy trying to, well, probably because your father passed. You need more loving support from the universe right now to get over this.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get past that, then I think this male will come back in to broaden your horizons more. But you're in, like I said, this inspiration comes from this artist from way back. Crazy.
And he was there at birth, right? Or he didn't come in until 2017 or
Yeah,
16? Okay.
this is the extra one. Yeah, bringing your inspiration through. Yeah. So you do have that connective energy. What I'm seeing here. What what brings in the books? The inspiration from above. But yeah, I was talking earlier about your dad. I was just behind the scenes. I was getting Buddy or something, but you said it might relate to another nickname,
Timmy.
but Timmy or whatever. But he always felt like there was always some kind of bond or need for you to
Mm-hmm.
be around him, whatnot. Some reason I was sensing Buddy, but yeah, he's there.
Is he there now?
How long did you say he's been gone?
July. July
July.
3rd.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty quick. Yeah. No, I don't. I don't think he's healed yet.
So he hasn't fully crossed over, or
Oh yeah, he has.
he has? Okay.
Um, yeah, the energy's weak. I mean, I'm not good enough
Okay.
yet to tap in. Um, because generally you would think, oh, I'm happy to be free of all the pain and everything, but I'm not even getting that. But I was the only thing prior to talking today was something about there was a connection there or some kind of name he give you. For some reason I thought it was Buddy, but it could be the connection of you two. But no, I don't even sense that from thank God I'm free of the pain or anything. So it feels kind of early yet because July
Is that
really.
normal? That's normally what you get, right? You
Well, it
don't.
depends.
Okay.
Generally someone would. A soul would be like, oh, my life was so painful. I had this cancer and that, and I'm not even sensing that kind of relief. Even saying.
Was it because he was
Um,
cremated, or does that not have any? That doesn't have anything to do with
no,
it. No.
that
Okay.
doesn't mean it. That doesn't mean a thing. No. I just feel like you need more time. He needs more time. His energy
Okay.
needs more time yet to communicate. Um, Maybe try about 6 months. Your favorite medium or whatever, or just ask
Okay.
questions. Give him like 6 months. The energy will be built up, and he'll be through his review pretty much a little bit. The review will take quite a few years yet. I mean, I've tried to talk to connect with my daughter's fiance that passed away. Except when right away when he passed for the first few weeks, he's kind of been. I can't even tap in. I get nothing. So either he's in a different realm or he just doesn't want to talk again yet. So it depends on the soul. Sometimes it's there for me. I mean, others are better, possibly. I don't claim to be a medium, but I just see things more and whatnot. But give your dad some more time yet.
Okay.
Um, is there a grandma that was close to you?
Yes. They've both since passed, though.
Right.
But this was her house. This was the one to whom I was
Oh,
closer.
which grandma? Dad's
Ruth.
grandma?
Ruth.
No, I think she's there. So I
She
was
is
sensing her.
here.
Yeah, I was sensing her grandma's around. This is your dad's grandma, dad's mom.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, she's here. She's there. Yes, yes. You it feels like the lights might change once in a while.
There's a
Something about that.
flicker.
Yeah, there's something about the lights.
Hmm.
It's like you're lit. Yeah, she's at her house. I sense her there. Yeah, I was trying to just sense any other family members, and I started seeing a grandmother figure that felt like on dad's side. Cool.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you're surrounded. Yeah, I think you need to give your dad a little time yet. Wait till like February or March to try to reach him. I mean, the energy's still there. You're connected. You have the same DNA, the souls together. But for a good message, I'd wait a little time yet. It feels like to me.
Okay.
Cool. All right, my friend. We're already at an hour and 30.
Oh my God. All right. I didn't realize. Okay.
Try to keep them
Well,
short, but I think the energy's about done, and we can chat afterwards. But anyway, thank the audience,
thank you, everybody. Thank you,
and
Scott.
thank you, Jeff. It's cool. Check out his musings. Jeff Bailey speaks for itself. Find on Amazon or contact Jeff. Have you put any content on your YouTube page?
I have. Um, and I'm on the cusp of putting something up once I figure it out.
Hmm.
I have something up, but
No,
I don't have
I
anything.
haven't. I haven't noticed if you put anything out new or not.
Nope, not yet. I am on
Well,
Instagram. I am on Facebook. I'm here. I'm always around.
you're in the chat.
I'm in the chat. I'm
They're in
vocal.
the
I'm on
love
vocal. I'm on simile.
Cool, yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jeff. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure. Love always. Bye.